shoulder external rotation, positional isometrics with connective tissue architecture. If you're doing this exercise, you would have already done both of those separately, the positional isometrics and the connective tissue architecture. So we're going to be doing these together now. Super cool, because one, it'll be able to save you some time, but most importantly, they work with two different systems. The positional isometrics works with the nervous system. The connective tissue architecture works on the biology. So by doing them together, we're actually getting them to play off and work off each other while you're doing this exercise, which does give you better results. What you should be feeling while you do the exercise is a better feel as you're doing them. So I'll show you as we go, but we're going to get into, you do your pales contraction. That'll give you a better feel for the connective tissue architecture part. You do the connective tissue architecture part, that gives you a better feel for the next rep on your positional isometrics. So I'll show you what I mean. It's a slightly different setup probably than you've done shoulder external rotation in as well. But basically I've got a dowel and I've got a band. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into a half kneeling position. The side that I'm going to lift that foot up and I'm going to be in this half kneeling position. And I'm going to wrap my arm around the band. So to get set up for the positional isometric, obviously we want to get to your active range of motion, and then we're going to do a rep 10 or 15 degrees past, another rep 10 or 15 degrees past that, and obviously subsequently keep going until you get to the end of your passive range or whatever your program says. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to assume that this is, say, my external rotation range of motion. That's as far as I can go actively. So what I'm going to do is simply drive the stick into the floor and then sort of just move back a little bit. That changes the angle of the stick, therefore pulls me into more external rotation. So I'm just going to sit here for a little bit, just get used to this. Just going to move back a little bit, so I've got a little bit of tension in the band. I'm still driving the stick into the floor though here. So what I'm going to do first is we're going to do your first contraction. So I'm now 10 or 15 degrees past my active range. Take a big breath, and now I'm going to start doing a pales contraction. So I'm trying to rotate my arm this way. So I'm driving effectively the stick into the floor. And you do this as hard as you can, or whatever your program says. And then I'm going to do a rails contraction. So now I'm doing everything I can to actively rotate more. And now I've done that rep. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, between that rep and the next rep, you're just going to lift the stick up off the floor. So you're just going to lift the elbow up a tiny bit. So now you've got this connective tissue architecture part. So I'm just going to sit here. The band is obviously trying to pull the stick back. And now so I'm using the front of my shoulder, everything here, to keep it still. If you're going to go for another rep, if you want to go a bit more, because you're going to get to your next 10 or 15 degrees, drop that down. You can do one of two things. You can either move back, or if you're sort of close to the end and you just want a little bit of movement, literally you can just sort of tilt your torso forward a bit, and then that'll make your arm go externally rotated relative to your torso. So I'm going to hold here and then do a rep, and I'm going to rotate forward. Hopefully you can see the stick bending. I'm going to rotate backwards. Once I've done that, now in my rest period, I'm just going to lift up. And now I want to be feeling this in the front, because as I lift up, I want to make sure I'm contracting this tissue so that I'm stopping the band pull me any further forward. I'll probably hold this for about 30 seconds, and then we're done. So what you'll be doing, find your active range, go 10 or 15 degrees past, do your pales and rails contraction. Then what I want you to do is just lift your arm up a little bit so the stick comes off the floor. That way now you've got the band pulling, and then you're using the tissue in your shoulder to hold still. Done that 30-second rest, then move another 10 or 15 degrees further into your passive range, do another rep there, and then subsequently do this. As long as we're doing this for a total of 2 minutes, you're getting both. So architecture for some load-bearing capacity, and if you've been doing the alternating exercise for the positional isometrics or pales and rails, then we might be throwing this one at the end for you as well. Going to move forward. so that now my arm's out straight, but I'm in a little bit of internal rotation, or at least out of external rotation. So I'm pushing here, fighting against the band. As I slowly walk back, that's pulling me into external rotation, and I'm fighting against it. So eccentrically loading. I'm just gonna add a little bit more here. 1 rep. I found that my arms are a little bit high on there, just the stick just touched there. So I'm just gonna hold that a little bit lower. I'm gonna come back forward. Get some tension, so I'm rotating here, getting some tension in the band. And now I'm gonna slowly come back. Obviously the stick and the band are pulling me into external rotation. I'm fighting it, fighting it, fighting it, fighting it. A little bit more. Oof. Now, if your knees are a bit sensitive, you can just do this standing up. Basically, exactly the same thing. So walk forward, elbow out to the side, get the tension. I'm pushing down, I'm trying to rotate against the band, and I'm literally just slowly walking back for that eccentric motion. There you go. Enjoy.